Hello, SOAR community. Of course, I am Jan Jorgensen at Sound and Light Healing Arts, and SOAR means Sounding Our Authentic Resonance, Voice of Truth Initiative. So I watch for people who are speaking up and bringing light and breaking the patterns that are keeping us stuck in the old ways of doing things. So when I saw Lux Gypsum speaking on a panel for the Women of Wisdom, I said, this delightful being is one of the new messengers. So I welcome Lux today. Hello, Lux.
Hi, thank you, Jen.
And you are speaking from?
I'm in Seattle, Washington, the ancestral lands of the Duwamish people in the Central District.
Beautiful. You're not very far from me at all. Well, I'm so glad we
Wonderful.
get to spend about 30 minutes today just talking about you and what you're bringing, and it's just a delight to have you here.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah.
So here is a bio. Lux is a non-binary being of European descent who are coming to the Pacific Northwest. You lived in a 60-person cooperative house while studying philosophy at UC Berkeley. Nice. Though many experiences through their time at Berkeley, Lux grew increasingly aware of and disturbed by the unspoken value systems underlying our capitalistic society. Thank goodness for the Luxes of the world and the Katies. Since graduating from Berkeley, Lux has been exploring different ways of revitalizing connective and communal systems, as well as the community-based thinking that supports them in our modern society. I mean, these are things that I talk about and that you've embodied. The new generation is holding it as the new structure. They are hoping that through their budding practice as a conflict mediator, their monthly community gatherings centered around sharing and their workshops and writing about paradigm shifting, that they can help spread ideas and practices that will make the world a more beautiful one. That's certainly my goal and my languaging. So, Lux, where did you grow up? And just tell me about your parents. Were they traditional? Did you have a non-traditional? What helped mold you? What were the formative forces?
I love that question. Yeah, I grew up in Irvine, California, which is a very kind of cookie cutter town. It's like a suburb south of LA, and all of the houses are all painted the same color of beige. You get a notice if the vines are too far over your garage. So yeah, I grew up in a place that felt very kind of constrained um, and traditional in the norms that were operating. But I had parents that were very open-minded, and they're still alive, they're still together, and I feel very grateful. I consider it one of the biggest privileges I have is being raised by my parents as these individuals who, we all have our work to do and they have their work to do, but they brought a lot of consciousness and intention into parenting and raising me and my sister as well. Yeah, and my dad is a math professor. He's of German background and is very efficient and you know, very, very smart and very engaged with thinking about the world. But has also work to do around like emotional connection and things like that. And my mom is kind of the opposite of him. She's also very smart, but is very playful and loving and always kind of puts other people before her, which has been, something I've been raised with is learning to like help other people and anticipate their needs. Yeah, so I feel very grateful for the background that I've come from, but it also was a big shift for me. Like there was a point in high school where I was like, this place is boring. There must be more to the world. And I feel like I really came into my own when I went to college at Berkeley and, was able to live in a place with a lot more creativity and expression. outwardly.
I grew up in the outskirts of Berkeley, and yeah, that really is the place to stretch it and expand, coming from a beige neighborhood in Irvine.
Yeah.
So it sounds like as a child, you were able to witness a, a, a positive dance of the masculine and feminine, but it also gave you something to look at as traditional roles and the limitations. And have you done much work around the masculine and feminine in classes or teaching? I'm sure it comes up in community living a lot. Just tell me your thoughts and experience around that.
Yeah, that's a big question. Yeah, I feel like what I think of when I hear that is also just the value systems, underlying our society that value certain traits and ascribe them as masculine and undervalue other traits and ascribe them as feminine. And also I think like the way that I relate to gender in my personal like identifying as non-binary is that like gender is fluid and that these kind of different energies which we could call masculine and feminine live in all of us, and that we have to find a balance of them and feel what is genuine in different moments and when we need more protection and more strength outwardly and when we need more softness and how to access that if we put walls up, and whoever we are, that can happen. And so, yeah, I guess I've come to see those those energies, those polar energies as just both being really valuable and not I don't see them as mapping on to men and women, but as being energies that are, within all of us and might be expressed like more fully by certain people. But that's not like only women experience softness and gentleness and receptiveness. I think that's something that we all can lean into and grow in ourselves. And it's really important. I think it's something I struggle with actually. Like, I think I am very being raised by my father. I can be very efficient and task oriented. And also within the capitalist paradigm, it teaches us to focus on doing things and producing, and that's where we get value from often. So to lean into like just being and soaking up the energy from the earth and meditation and those kinds of practices is still something that I'm very much growing in my own ability to like be in those receptive energies.
That's a wonderful answer. And what I'm hearing you say that two words. One, the freedom to do that dance, regardless of gender, with any other gender, with any other person. That's the
Yeah.
future. That's the future human being. And some people say androgyny, and I call it more self-balancing and then allowing other people to dance or balance because everything is a vibrational basis.
Mhm.
So, are you living in community now?
I am living in a house with three other people that, yeah, it is a kind of community, and it's just less cooperatively structured than other places that I've lived, which I'm happy to like talk about why I've made that choice to move into a space where, we have our own food and we do share some household expenses and chores just at a more minimal level. Though I do, yeah, I think it would still count as community living to a lot of people. But for me, just coming from a background of like sharing all of the food, sharing all of the chores and developing systems together, there was a lot more involvement in other communities that I've lived in the past.
Yes, I understand there's different levels of commitment, communication,
Hmm.
financial sharing, and very complex systems of
Hmm.
communication, especially in circle. So you've done the more complex ones, so you know that, and now you're experiencing. And I'll tell you why it's important to bring this topic up because of finances, the pandemic, many reasons people are finding that they need to open up the rooms in their home.
Hmm.
That it just makes sense. And it's actually the way that we lived in ancient times as well, rather than being isolated in our
Hmm.
own house, up high on a hill. So it sounds like that's working for you right now. Um, what do you what do you like to do? You have these interests and these principles. How do you plug them in for social change? Are you working in any projects right now? Are you sitting on any boards doing writing? Just, and I do ask general questions.
Yeah.
So you can take it wherever you want to go.
Yeah, thank you. Well, one project I'm really excited about that is an extension of bringing communal practices into the world more is the Free Store project that I've been working on for a couple years, which I just applied for a grant with a community group called Black Star Farmers. And I'm working with Marcus Henderson, who's a big part of this group. And um, yeah, we collectively applied for a grant under the name of the Giving Room to create a space that is kind of fostering the culture of generosity and of sharing, and shifting our relationship with ownership, shifting our relationship with community through being able to, like, yeah, offer what we have in abundance and receive the abundance that we are needing at that time. So essentially it's just like, yeah, a place where you can bring things that you might bring to Goodwill or some other, place that you would donate things that you no longer need, and just create like a closed loop cycle where those things can find new homes through the space and through monthly outdoor, now with COVID, like outdoor kind of pop-ups where we bring everything outside and allow people to flow through and just, connect with other people who are there. A lot of times I've hosted events like this just kind of on a ongoing but slightly irregular basis for the last couple years. Um, and it's amazing just to see people like looking at something like, what do you think this is for? And just like the interaction and connection that can come through stuff. And then someone being like, oh my gosh, that shirt was mine. I got that, on a trip that I went on, or that was my grandmother's. But it doesn't, like, I just don't want to just hold on to it for no reason, and being able to pass on those stories. Like, I think that a lot of what we're looking for when we go shopping or like, yeah, go out into the world is to connect with people. And
Yeah.
this just brings that forward and takes away the money part, which allows more accessibility and inclusiveness to the space, as well as, yeah, just more freedom for people to try things on, like literally to play with gender too, and how you might express yourself and how you might feel with a different, also you're frozen. I don't know if this is still coming through. Are you able to hear me? What? Sorry, I can't hear you.
You're frozen, but I can hear your voice. I can hear your voice beautifully. You never dropped a word. You froze, but that's okay. You
Okay.
never dropped a word. I think that money divides us. It marginalizes us. I grew up very, very poor, and then I
Mm,
was very wealthy, and now I'm just right. So I know the
mm,
vibration of it all. When I had a store one time, I had a give or take big table. I had it slightly to the right, and this wealthy woman was moving out, and she left all these cool things, and the neighbors were screaming with delight with all the little
mhm,
nautical. So I know what you mean. The joy of beauty without feeling you might have to go hungry, or
mhm,
you're not going to buy your grandchild a present. And the energy exchange there of
mhm,
not just words, but wordless love and caring. And
mhm.
this has value, and I give it to you. So that's truly weaving a good way to weave community. Here in Cooper Point, we have, what's it called? Give or buy, get for
Buy
nothing,
nothing, buy
buy
nothing.
nothing. Yeah, and people post everything. And years ago, my daughter would say, well, Mama, I'm going to go pick up a bookcase. I'd say, from a stranger? Wait a minute. And she says, Mom, don't be so old fashioned. This is the future.
Yes.
Uh,
It is
it's
really amazing how much trust people offer each other within those buy nothing communities. Like, it is essentially
yeah.
strangers on a Facebook group and you give them your address. Like,
And they say, I'll leave it on my porch. I had a guy come pick up kayaks one time. And I mean, it's worked really well. It,
yeah.
it, it's pretty cool. And there's something about we want to trust other humans and we give
Mhm,
it the benefit of the doubt if we're a good person as well. And I would say 99.9% of humans are good.
mhm.
If we expect the good out of them, we hold that place and the rest we get over. So, what is your vision of your dream life, your dream job, where you
Mm,
know you're totally making a difference, riding the wave of bringing that new paradigm in? What's your picture for yourself for the future?
yeah, I love this question. I think this has, like, been a guiding light for me for years is since graduating, like, how can I create the life that I wanna live where I'm of service in ways that are aligned for me? Um, and I see that as an evolving thing that is gonna change throughout my whole life. And
Absolutely.
I yeah, I think I am doing that in one iteration of it right now. Um, I'm able to make money by doing home organizing. I've always, since I was a
Whoa.
kid, I've loved just like organizing stuff, and it's just natural for me. Yeah, it's something that I enjoy. And so it also feeds into the free exchange because I'll go to people's house, help them get organized, find like what they really need in the space and what they have excess of that they might not need or things they've been holding on to. And um, I'm my vision is to develop it into more of like a therapeutic, like total life transformation
Yeah.
where people, would really like listen to my input as well around like the energetic vibration of different things that we hold on to and how to create spaces where, we're containing like old things that we want to keep, like containing them in some way and not just like scattering everything around the house, and just being able to really curate a space in a way where the energy can flow. Um, and understanding that we have a lot of emotional attachment invested in objects and like holding space for that piece of the work as well. Um, so yeah, I'm starting to do that more, and then I'll take things that people no longer want and try and rehome them through Buy Nothing or through the Giving Room. And and yeah, that project, the Giving Room, is still very much working itself out. I just found a public space where we can have it, and so it's gonna have take time to like build out the space and all of that. But yeah, my vision, I mean, it's hard sometimes to disentangle my vision for my life from like my vision for society too, because like I want the world to have, instead of mass production warehouse, like mass production and industry, there's already so much stuff that just needs to be organized and like freed from the places where it's not being used, and
Yeah.
then to have like warehouses throughout all cities that are just giant free stores would be like, is one vision I have for how society could like really take on responsibility for the goods that we've produced, and also responsibility for offering them freely to people who need them when they're like, it really is a gift when I take something from someone's house. They pay me to take it away because they don't want it anymore. And so that concept that like it is a gift to the person who's giving too, to release that stuff, and it's a gift to receive it when you're needing like whatever those things are.
It
um
was Yeah, it wasn't lost to me that you've completed the arc of personal service. You're like a stuff whisperer, and you go in where it's not needed, and you don't stop there. Your ministry is disseminating that stuff for joy and actual use, simplifying energetic cleansing like a feng
Mhm.
shui, and then bring. And so you've completed the loop. And now here's the brilliant part, which women love to hear: you get paid for decluttering. That's the universe meeting you in your mission. That's why I'm interviewing you today. You're actually you're helping the planet with materialism and clutter. You're teaching your voice and your presence in decluttering is helping expand the envelope for where we're going. And then you're in this wonderful place of setting up for those who need to receive something. So I just want you to really take that in. You are doing it. That's
Yeah,
not the
thank you. So I'm working on developing a website and it should be up by midsummer sometime, but already you can go on. My business name is Hearth Revival. That's Hearth, Hearth, which is like Hearth is like the center place of the home, the place where the fire is built. The word also contains earth
clever.
and art in it and heart. So
Very
it's like connecting to heart and building systems that are, good for the earth and that's expressing your own personal art through your space. So hearthrevival.com is my website and you can sign up for my newsletter. And when I have like ways to official offerings put up there, then you can see all of the different things I do. I also do photography. I also do workshops. I haven't been doing many recently, but that's something I want to offer more, especially for communities or groups that are looking for support developing communication systems or, I've done consent workshops in the past, just understanding how your organization could do more to be part of a paradigm shift. So that's all in the works. And then also, I do currently have my business listed on Thumbtack, which is a third-party application. You can just Google it. It's a website, thumbtack.com, and Hearth Revival is my name on there too. So you could hire me through that for now before I get stuff up on my own website. And just to say a little more, another thing, because I really do believe that we have like multiple gifts and that at different times in our life we'll be doing some of them more than others, but I do also work as a conflict mediator and I'm finishing a certification process right now, but I hope with my vision for that is I'm also going to grad school in the fall for a therapy program through CIIS, which is
perfect.
yeah, you've heard of it, I'm sure.
I
um,
taught there. Yeah. The
oh,
class.
amazing. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to their integral counseling psychology program, and that I want to combine like therapy and healing work with mediation and be able to work with people. Like I believe that in relationship and in organizing, like community organizing together or in cooperative living together, that's where the tension comes out. And so I want to work with individuals and with groups to heal when there's co-triggering happening, to like unwork and understand what past traumas are being triggered by the conflict in your co-op, and how as an individual people can work on their own traumas but also come together with that shared understanding to have like a group mediated conversation where healing can happen.
And you'll have even more depth and bandwidth to serve in just a higher, more wonderful ways. Lux, this has been an amazing journey with you, and I see that you have this basket and you keep adding more gifts, wider and deeper, and you are a profound change maker for as a transitional agent, a messenger with new vibrations in ways that are natural to you, and you're stepping up and you're doing it. And I'm just thrilled, and I know we'll be crossing paths again, and I look forward to it. Lux Gypsum, and I will write in the little credits there how you can contact this delightful, beautiful, talented serving Lux Gypsum.